This video is going to piss a few men off, but welcome to the internet. There's this idea that men have that a man can go out and sleep around and still come back home to his wife. I find that funny because women can do that too. Let me ask you this question. Do you believe all women are pure, good, don't cheat on their husbands? Then when somebody created DNA tests, then women all of a sudden started cheating on their husbands? No, the DNA test just shows how silly that idea was. Have you not watched any paternity courts? Do you see how many married women fail DNA tests? Now, some men will say, no matter what, a man will still come back to his wife. Well, that's not exactly true. I personally know 3 women that their husbands were knocking outside, and one day abandoned the wife and children and moved with the side chick. 2 of them, like 20 years later, those men fell very sick. The side chick left them. The family of the husband brought the man back to the wife and said that she should please take care of him because, he's still your husband. And the only reason that these men came back is because they felt sick. Do you know how many women that this have happened to them? And do you know how many women that the men didn't fall sick and they never came back? Side chick become main wife happens a lot. And let's not talk about men that have gone outside and gone carry sickness and come and give their wife. And then they will say a man can love his wife and go and knock outside, but he loves his wife. Yes, that's true. That's because you don't have any soul anymore. If you really love her and can go out and go and knock, and you don't feel anything like, oh, I've wronged my woman, your conscience is dead now. Let me put it like this. The first time you steal meat from your loving mother's pot, you're like, oh my God, what have I done? I should have done that. This meat makes sense, but I should have done that. By the 100th time that you're doing it, you don't feel shit. You have killed your conscience, and you think just because you don't feel bad about what you have done, that means it's okay or it's good. That's not how it works. A professional kidnapper doesn't feel bad about that. Does that make what he's doing right? Then they will say, men are polygamous in nature. Man is sinful in nature. All sin, pride, envy, wrath, lust, and so on and so forth. There is no sin that's acceptable to one gender and is a problem to another gender. Sexual desire comes to both male and female. Acting on it is where men want there to be excuse for their own, but punishment for women when they act on it. For example, they brought to Jesus a woman who was caught in adultery. Answer me this, how do you catch one person committing adultery? Where was the married man that was knocking her? The law is that both of them should be stoned, but some reason he was not there. Man, it is not today that you want to knock outside and want only women to be punished for that same thing. You tried it on Jesus, it didn't work. If they brought both the man and the woman that was caught in adultery to Jesus, Jesus would have been impressed, but they didn't. Now, the last argument that they will bring is, it is in our culture for a man to marry more than one wife. But you are not marrying, you are just knocking outside, which is different. But, okay, what of cultures where women can marry more than one husband? There was a culture like that in Nigeria, the Ilugwe and Rukubu tribe. The men live in their own separate houses, but they are married to one woman. It was like that till their council voted to outlaw it in 1968. I'm guessing because that council became more Christians. But anyway, there are other countries that still practice this art called polyandry. Kenya does. In Uganda, one woman married 7 husbands. In Tibet, a woman can marry brothers, blood brothers. In India, several different ethnic groups practice it. In Canada, the Yuna tribe practice it. Some places in Brazil and Chile, which is very interesting, they practice polygamy and polyandry in their tradition, but it was seen as sinful by the Catholic settlers. The Spanish tried to ban it, which resulted in a bloody conflict. Yes, people fought and died for that not to happen, and that tradition still exists till today in some parts of Chile. So, can you tell any of these people that their culture is wrong? If so, by whose standards? If you were born in those traditions, would you say it's wrong? Now, some of you people will say I'm just attacking men. Nope. I've always been for men, but I've always been about the truth. Firstly, what many of you people are doing, you are unequipping men and the next generation to lose guard. Nothing they happen. They can go out and misbehave. But what you don't know is that as they go out, somebody can be coming inside. And I don't mean just your house. If men really believe that they can be chopping outside, why do they get angry when they find out that their sister is getting knocked anyhow outside? Do you seriously think many men will not knock a married woman? You think if a beautiful married woman open leg, men will be like, no, you're married, let's not do this? Look, many men that are knocking outside, that their wife noticed that they are fighting about it. It is not that your wife cannot knock outside too. Many women have not knocked outside is because they have not seen that man that's come and tell them, baby, you are beautiful, you deserve to be happy, you don't deserve this kind of shit. You don't think a man can tell your wife, I wish I met you before you got married? You don't know that there are wolves at your gates? What do you think many women are learning and educating themselves with today? You think the women we have now are the same with the women we had 40 years ago? Nigerian women are becoming more liberal than you can even imagine. And you are still having the mentality of 1980s Cold War. Okay? Me, I am telling men to be vigilant, especially as nobody's preaching modesty anymore. Now I want to hear what you think about all of this. What do you think the dating market 20 years from now is going to look like? And how do you see marriage looking like 20 years from now? Let me know in the comment section.